Java tutorial number 1. I'm using Eclipse, but feel free to use any program you want as long as you know it's suitable for writing Java in it. I'm not going to go over how to install Eclipse in this video because I'm sure a lot of people have already gotten started writing Java and I don't want to waste anyone's time. Before we start coding, you're going to need an IDE, something like Eclipse or another program to write Java in. You're going to need Java on your computer, and you're going to need JDK, Java Development Kit. It might sound like a lot to start off with, but it's not very much. It just takes like 20 or 30 seconds to install each of them. It's super simple, and I'll leave links in the description to tutorials running you through how to install those things. It's super quick and super easy, and everything's free. So if you don't have those 3 things, then just pause the video and go install them right now, and then we'll get started. The first thing we're going to do in Eclipse is we're going to hit New, and then we're going to hit Java Project. We're going to name the project Hello World. And you don't need to worry too much about what's selected here. You can pretty much just go with the defaults. You might have this little box selected at the bottom that says create module info.java file. You can unselect that if you want. That's what I'm going to do. And then just hit finish and it'll make a project for us. Here's the project. Inside of the project, we're going to right click it and hit new class. For the name, we're going to go Hello World. And I'm going to check off public static void main. And then just hit finish. And we can get rid of this auto-generated method stub. We don't need that. So here we have a class called Hello World, which is everything from this opening curly brace to this ending curly brace. Everything in here is the class. Inside the class, we have a method. This is the main method. Every time a Java program starts up, it's going to start execution inside of the main method. So it's going to start executing the code that's written inside of here. Right now, we're going to write system.out.println. And pay attention to the capitals here. We have a capital on the S, and then everything else is lowercase. Java is case sensitive, so it's not going to do what we want. If we say have a capital P right here, then it's not going to do what we want. I'll leave it in there right now on mine just to show that it's not going to work. We're going to get a set of brackets, and inside the brackets we'll put some double quotes, and we're just going to write Hello World. And at the end of the line we have a semicolon. A semicolon in Java just finishes off a statement, so this is the statement right here ending with the semicolon. And we're going to run this program now. If you're in Eclipse, then it's just going to be this little green circle up here. So I'll hit that. And I just installed Eclipse on here, so it's asking me if I always want to save the resources before running. I'm going to hit yes, okay. And it's saying that errors exist in the project because of this capital P that I put in right there. So I'll click proceed and just see what happens. And it's giving me this error message here. And Eclipse is super convenient in that it's also showing me this little error flag right here, this little red X, which is showing where the error is, and it's underlining println just to tell me where the error is. So I'm going to change that to a lowercase p. And we'll run this again, and it's just going to write Hello World to the screen. There we go, Hello World. And you don't need to worry about what this means in here for right now. All we need to know is that when we hit system.out.println, then it's going to print out whatever is in the brackets and the quotations in here, and it's going to print it to the console right here. So right now, when we hit start and run the program, then the execution starting in the main method where it finds this print statement, which is what we call this, a print statement. Generally, we wouldn't have code like this inside of a main method. It's best practice to keep your main method looking really clean If you have a program where you have a ton of print statements in the main method and a ton of other low-level code like that, then it just starts to be really messy and hard to follow along with the logic of the program. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take this print statement and put it inside of its own method. Right now it's inside of this main method right here. We're going to write a second method. We're going to write public static void say hello world. So we've made a method right here that is called say hello world. We won't get too into what these things mean right now. The public just means that it's accessible. Static is kind of confusing to explain for right now. We won't worry about that. And the void just means that this method isn't returning anything. So the method's just going to do something instead of returning a value. For now, we're just going to take this code that we had in the main method. We're just going to cut and paste it into this method, say hello world. And you might think that this would run okay now, that we would hit run up here and then this method would run and it would print hello world. But the execution starts in the main method and there's nothing in the main method right now. So this code isn't even going to run at all. What we need to do to get this code to run is call it from inside of the main method. So to call this method, we just write out its name, say hello world, and we put the brackets, and then we put a semicolon to make it a statement. And we'll hit run, and it's going to put hello world here again. So the program execution is starting in the main method right here. And in the main method, we're saying call the function hello world. So then the program execution jumps to say hello world, and it executes whatever is inside of say hello world, which is the print statement hello world. And then once that's finished, there's nothing else in the main method, so the program is done. It's terminated, it's finished, it's not going to do anything else. And you'll notice that the methods have these brackets right after them. These are for if we want to pass anything to a method. Right now, let's rename this method. We'll say hello to, and then we're going to pass something to this method down here. Inside of double quotes, we'll say Mike. So this says execute the function say hello to and pass it the value of Mike. And now we need to let the method know that it's going to be passed a value. So we need to give it a heads up. We're going to say right here, string person. So this is telling this method say hello to that it's going to be expecting a string, and just to name that string person once it gets passed to it. So right here, it's going to say hello to Mike. So it'll pass Mike to say hello to. So Mike is the string. A string in Java is just a sequence of characters that you're going to see enclosed in double quotations. So Mike is a string right here, just a sequence of characters. And inside of this method, that string of characters is going to be referred to as the person. So inside of our print statement, we'll get rid of the world and we'll say hello. Outside of the quotations, we'll put a plus, and then we're going to write person. So now it'll say hello Mike, because Mike is the person that was passed to this method. Hit run and we get hello Mike. And one of the beautiful things about methods is that we can reuse the code that's in here and we don't have to write it out again every time that we want to use it. Just to show what I mean, let's write a few more print statements in here. It can be anything you want. All right, system.out.println, hey person. And another one, all right, system.out.println, your name is person. So now we can execute these three statements in here just by writing say hello to, and then passing it a name. We'll say hello to Karen. So to say hello to Karen, we don't have to write out these 3 statements again. We've already written them out. And to access them, all we have to do is call the method say hello to. And now when we hit run, it's going to write 6 lines out for us. Hello Mike, hey Mike, your name is Mike, and then the same for Karen in here.